Yo, it's your boy Front Row Fresh, aka Coach Rob, another episode of the Front Row Show. I know y'all waiting to see me again. We put it on pause, but we back live in action. I got some fire coming up for y'all. 2 big shows coming up, you feel me? My guest today, I got my man Drew Blevins. Drew Blevins, how you feeling?
Hey man, I'm feeling great, fam. I'm feeling great,
That's
man.
Good.
Happy to be here. It's been a long time coming.
I feel you. So my man Blevins, I met him back in like 07 at Campbell
Oh seven,
University.
07,
I was running
2007.
track there. My man was
Playing football.
Cool peoples, good peoples. You know, from Goldsboro by way of Alabama.
Yes, sir.
You feel me? So we're gonna start like this, man. Tell me about your upbringing.
Yeah.
What got you into football?
Absolutely, man. So my upbringing, man, I grew up from a military background, much like you. One of the ways we connected. And my dad decided he wanted to get into football coaching when I was 7 years old. So he had a team. They gave him a bunch of ragtag guys, an 11 and 12-year-old group. And, he overachieved with that group. And then by the time I turned 8, my dad became my full-time coach.
Gotcha.
So I got into it at the boys club in Goldsboro, man, 8 years old. First time playing football ever in my life. And, kind of got into it. Started off as a wide receiver.
Right.
Moved to running back, man. And just, from there, just kind of just made it. It just became a niche of mine. So that's kind of how it started, man. It started with Pops. And just kind of took off from there.
Okay, so were you just straight a football guy, or did you play other sports when you were coming up during that time?
I always try to be a multi-sport guy, man. Coming up, 8 years old, I played football, basketball, and t-ball.
Gotcha.
As an 8-year-old. And then by the time I turned 9, it was football, basketball, and baseball.
Okay.
So I always try to make sure I stayed active, try to maintain my sports regimen and make sure I had something to do in every sports season.
Got you. So, similar. And we're going to touch on a lot. Me and Drew are kind of like two of the same people. You feel
Facts.
Me? And like you said, military background, we had a connection in sports. Tell me about your high school career. Because you did play in college.
Facts.
So what you do in high school, how did you exceed and excel to get to that college level?
Absolutely, man. So in high school, I came into high school with a lot of hype. I'll say that. Had a pretty prestigious middle school career. So when I came into high school, automatically... some schools have freshmen and then some of them have JV.
Right.
We had freshmen in JV. Automatically came in to JV.
Okay.
Starting running back. And I came in and I made a splash immediately, man. I bought a smash mouth style of play that was really lacking at that level at Eastern Wayne. And then from there, man, I made a splash there. By 10th grade, I was on varsity. Not the feature back, but a slot back that was out there making plays. Yeah, I'm a running back.
Okay.
Yeah, so by the time I was hitting 10th grade, I was making a splash on the football field. I played slot back in 10th grade on a varsity level. Started making some big splashes, started getting some good looks because as a slot back, I was able to play, running back, receiver,
right.
Play a little bit on the defensive side. So I was able to show that I could be a very well-versed type of player.
Gotcha.
Also, still played basketball in 9th and 10th grade on the JV level and made some splashes there as well, but I kind of knew that football was going to be my meal ticket moving forward.
Gotcha.
In terms of once we started to get to the junior, senior year, my junior year had a really huge year. 780 plus rushing, 600 plus receiving, 12 touchdowns total, 55 tackles, 3 picks.
Oh, man, okay.
So I ended up getting some handwritten letters from Rich Rodriguez from West Virginia at that time, which was a very big program.
Right.
So once that happened, I knew, okay, here and right now, I know that I could take this to the next level.
Right.
Had letters from Troy, Tulane, everything.
Confidence was up.
Feeling
yourself.
Senior year, went against the grain a little bit because I was no longer a slot. I was a feature tailback.
Got you. So you
played running back.
Touches,
yeah, getting a lot more touches, but then a lot more hits.
Yeah.
Not as much diversity. Not as much, being able to catch the ball and stuff like that.
Right.
Straight pounder.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So still did well. 7th game of the season, ran into some bad luck against Wilson Bedingfield. Rainy game, made a bad cut, slipped, broke my arm, compound fracture. Finished the season 6 games, 978 yards, 14 touchdowns.
Oh, man.
All my big looks were gone.
Right.
The last 2 looks I had remaining as an injured player, you got to think in 2007, when you injured in 2007, it's not like it being injured now because technology is not like what it was now. So, Wingate and Campbell, my final 2 offers. I leaned more towards Campbell because it was a new program. It was an upstart program. It was a Division I program, sponsored by Adidas, and I've always been an Adidas guy. and I made that move, and that's how you and I decided to cross paths.
So before we dive into your college career, I want to give a quick shout out to Tipsy Treats. All right, y'all see the smoothies here? It's good. It's smooth. It's healthy. You know what I'm saying? So y'all make sure y'all check that out. Support my homegirl, Tasha. All right, man. So your college career at Campbell University, a fighting Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
How did your freshman year pan out?
My freshman year is pretty unique because at the time when I went to Campbell, it was still a new program. So literally all the freshmen, every one of us, we redshirted because there wasn't an active football season yet. So we went out there, we redshirted, and I made a splash pretty early because, you know, I was one of those guys that looked as a high energy guy. I was a rah-rah guy in the locker room, and I ended up getting a lot of love because they're like, that Blevins, he's about that. Like, team guy,
yeah,
energy guy, hard worker. And, you know, I think I made a pretty good splash early on. And then sophomore year, you know, things didn't really pan out my way. You know, I went out there. We had some freshmen that came in that were looked at to be ready to play before me, even though I was already been there for 2 years. I put the grind in. I did well in the orange-white game, but I come back the next year, and they still aren't seeing things in my favor. Looking back in retrospect, I feel like knowing the nature of football, I probably should have stuck it out because injuries happen.
Right.
People get shifted, especially in the running back, because running backs is always a revolving door. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's the most physical position on the field besides linebacker. So I feel like if I would have stuck it out, if I could have really been able to show the public what I could do, I didn't. I just chose a different path, went the JUCO route, did well with that. But at the end of the day, you know, my football career didn't pan out.
Where'd you go for JUCO?
I went to Yuba College out there in the Sacramento area.
In Sacramento.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked before, so it was kind of like you stayed in an apartment. Kind of like if y'all watch on Netflix, like Last Chance U.
It was exactly like
Dog
that.
Eat Dog World.
Facts.
You know what I'm
Just
saying?
like that.
Okay. And you have a lot of talent at those JUCOs.
Big
D1 players.
People don't know that.
And you know, a lot of times is people that ain't have opportunities, poor grades,
right,
getting in trouble, and they trying to get the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? They shine to get to that big D1 level.
That's what it's all about.
Facts. Okay.
Decommits, guys that didn't necessarily have the grades. You know, just different things like that. Guys that were studs at their high school.
Right.
They just trying to come out there and put a name, local guys. So, yeah, that's what it was all about.